Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Kiger, up here today with a bit of a top list that I wanted to do. So today I'm going to be talking about 15 movies that I own that I want to upgrade to Blu-ray, with the exception of that there's a few on here that I don't have physical copies of. But for the most part, I have physical copies of all of these, with a majority of them on DVD, but a few of them I do have a Blu-ray for and want to upgrade to a 4K. I've already talked about this before on my channel. That for me personally, if a movie or TV show only has a DVD, I'll take it. But if it has a Blu-ray or a 4K, I only really buy Blu-rays and 4Ks of movies that I know I'm going to rewatch. Occasionally, like I said, if I see them cheap, like a blind buy or something, I can pick it up. If I don't like it, I can always sell it, because Blu-rays and 4Ks especially are a lot easier to sell than DVDs. But if I'm going to do a blind buy, I'd prefer to do it for a DVD if it's cheap. Like anything, if it's cheap, I'll check it out, and if I like it, I can upgrade it. But these are ones that these aren't all of them. I have a little bit of a list of stuff that I do want to upgrade, but these are the ones that I want to definitely get upgrades for. Some of them more so than others. So the first one is it's a bit of a weird one, is the Laurel and Hardy. Obviously I'm a big fan of Laurel and Hardy, and I've had my big box set for years. I believe they have actually re-released that box set in a smaller contained size, a bit similar to the size of that 30 Rock there, a bit similar to that size. But I believe that box set is actually missing a couple of the shorts and stuff on it. I don't believe it's as complete as the previous release. But what I do know is they have actually released some Blu-ray sets for Laurel and Hardy. I know they did one that had like 5 films on there, and then they did one that had like 20 or 40 on there. I'm not sure if that one was a region 3 release. I've heard that it is, and I'd love to get that as an upgrade. I still keep my classic Laurel and Hardy set. There are certain films and stuff that I don't mind having a DVD for, and all different editions. I have been tempted to actually try and go for a complete Saw edition, get all the different versions of Saw, as it's my favourite of the horror franchises. But again, space is at a premium, but it is a cool idea that I've seen some people do. And sometimes with these different editions, you get like special features and exclusive stuff that isn't on other versions as well. And if you're a fan of the film, you appreciate that. Up next is Hot Fuzz. Of course, Shaun of the Dead as well. I have Shaun of the Dead on Blu-ray, and I have Hot Fuzz on DVD. I have actually recently watched both Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead on Sky Movies. But I believe they actually now, they do have the Cornetto trilogy as part of a 4K set, and I think it's about £30, which isn't bad, basically £10 a movie. I love Shaun of the Dead. I love Hot Fuzz. I've only seen A World's End once, and I remember enjoying it. Some people say they don't like it. I thought it was entertaining, but for me, I'd love to have Hot Fuzz, and I kind of would. I'm in two minds, because I've already got a physical Blu-ray for Shaun of the Dead. But do I just double down and go, do you know what? I might as well just get the 4K set and get all 3 films on 4K, because it's not a bad option to have. Again, I love the Cornetto trilogy. Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, 2 of my most rewatched movies out there. Shaun of the Dead, probably one of the few horror films that I've rewatched tons and tons of time and still enjoy. I know it's horror comedy, but it's zombies, so it's horror. But I love those films, so I'm definitely going to check out the 4K version. I actually think I only have maybe 1 or 2 4Ks now, if that, so I definitely need to upgrade and thing. Like I said, I'm not going to upgrade everything. That would take me forever. Like I said, if it's a film that I've only seen once and can't see myself rewatching, there's no point me upgrading it for the sake of an upgrade, The next one is one of my all-time favourite comedies, Happy Gilmore. I don't know if it's got a 4K release. I don't think it has, but I know it has a Blu-ray release. I love Happy Gilmore. Again, pretty much all of these films that I'm talking about, or TV shows, are actually available on streaming services or you know, Sky Movies or something. So I can watch all of these films in, you know, 1080p, but I would like to have a physical version. Of course, physical media definitely is better than streaming, as always, as you know. Don't have to worry about lag and latency issues, and you know you're gonna have a stable picture the entire film. Plus, if you love something, you want to own it for yourself, right? But Happy Gilmore, I love Happy Gilmore. It's one of my all-time favorite comedies. I like Adam Sandler as an actor. I know he's been in some good films. Of course, Happy Gilmore, in my opinion, is probably one of my favorite of his films. And then he's been in a few films that not so good, you know, like Jack and Jill, for example, and Going Overboard. And even some people say Click isn't. I like Click. But I'd love to have an upgrade for Happy Gilmore. I've got like I said, I've got a DVD for it somewhere. But that's one of the few sport films that I really like. The sport is secondary in my opinion in that golf film, classic Adam Sandler. I love that film. Just so many memorable scenes. You know, the alligator or crocodile, the hand, you know, the just tap it in, just tap it in. I love that film. One of the few films I rewatch every year, and sometimes even more than once a year. The next one is kind of a bit of a cheat here, so it's 2 in 1, but that's Bruce and Evan Almighty. I've got a physical version of Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty on DVD. Again, both of those films are available on streaming services, but it's weird because Bruce Almighty, for some reason, is kind of hard to find now on Blu-ray. I don't think, I think the UK version is kind of out of print and hard to find. I've come across it a few times on eBay, so some people are asking like 20 quid for it. Which I love the movie, but I ain't going to pay that much money for one Blu-ray. Maybe if I look in CEX, so all of these films probably you can find elsewhere. Bruce Almighty, I love that film, and I enjoy Evan Almighty as well. Although Evan Almighty is a bit more family-friendly orientated. Bruce Almighty, of course, I love that film. Jim Carrey, I love Jim Carrey. Plays a similar role in a lot of these movies. Of course, Jennifer Aniston's in that film as well. Evan Almighty, I thought was a lot of fun as well. Steve Carell, one of my favourite actors, of course, from The Office. I love Steve Carell. I actually watched him in, I think I've seen that film before I even watched The Office. But The Office has become one of my most favourite modern sitcoms as well. I love The Office. It's a show that I could rewatch again and still enjoy it. Next up is Blue Streak with, I think it's, I want to say Martin Lawrence. I love that movie, Blue Streak. It's a bit stereotypical, you know. Basically, this guy who's a jewel thief has to pretend he's a cop to try and get the jewel back, burglary and stuff. I remember watching it years ago with my cousin and loving it. I've got a DVD somewhere. I think I've got it as part of a trilogy with, I think it had I Spy and National Security. But I'd like to just own a standalone release for Blue Streak. I believe it is available on streaming services. I think Netflix, Sky Movies, those sort of things. But I love Blue Streak. One of my favourite sort of action comedy films. I think I prefer it over Rush Hour. I've only seen the Rush Hour films once, but I think Blue Streak might be one of my favourite cop comedy movies. Of course, Beverly Hills Cop is an all-time classic as well, but I enjoy Blue Streak. Next up is Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I watched it a while back. It was one of the films that I watched on Netflix. I watched it on my phone, if you can believe that. And I watched it and I absolutely loved it. I know it's a classic, of course, Steve Martin, John Candy, two legendary actors. Amazing film. Very, very touching film, of course, sort of a coming of age, but also a great sort of road trip movie, Thanksgiving movie as well. I believe the 4K has just been released now. I believe they just released the 4K for it, or it's coming out soon. I'd be happy with having a Blu-ray of it. I think I've got a DVD of it somewhere, but I'd love to get an upgrade for it. do I double dip and go for the 4K, or do I just buy the Blu-ray for now? I love that film. I thought it was such a great film. Just some amazing scenes in that film. Just so many great memorable moments. Of course, when he's playing the trumpet in the car and pretending to do all of this, and then the whole scene with the you want to hurt me? Go ahead and hurt me. You know, that whole speech. It's a great film. Love that film. I can't wait to check it out again. Next up is a buyback. I thought I'd include one buyback on here. I want the Red Dwarf collection back in the Blu-ray collection. I'm still a bit pissed off that they haven't actually released a complete Red Dwarf collection, which includes season 9, 10, I think 11 and 12. I think they did 4 seasons of the new stuff. And I believe there's also a movie, The Promised Land. Red Dwarf is going from place to place. It's crazy. Originally it was on Netflix, and then it went to BritBox for a while. Now it's on Amazon Prime, and there's talk about it going back to BritBox. I don't know what's going on with Red Dwarf. It's moving around like crazy, man. Like, literally. So I want to have the Blu-ray collection back in the collection. There's a bunch of films and things that I've sold over the past few months, but now things are getting a bit more stable and stuff. I want to try and buy some stuff back and actually watch it this time. You know, so I do want to get Red Dwarf back, because I think it's one of my, definitely up there in my top 5, maybe top 10 British TV shows of all time. Next up is Spaceballs. I believe there is a 4K release, but I don't know if it's an official, I don't know, but I love Spaceballs. One of my favourite spoof movies, definitely up there in my favourite comedy movies. Just so many memorable scenes. Only one man would give me the raspberry. Lone Star. Wait, hey, can we have the movie? How can we have the movie when we're filming it right now? Use the Schwartz. The Schwartz. Of course, John Candy, Mel Brooks, amazing film. Such a great film. Just, I love that film so much, and I want to get the upgrade. I want to say, I think there is a 4K for it, but I don't think it was actually released here in the UK, at least not to my knowledge. I think it was a steelbook, and it's kind of hard to find now. But the Blu-ray is quite easy to find, so I definitely want to upgrade it to Blu-ray. I'm not sure if it's on any streaming services. I think it's on one of the Prime premium channels. I could be wrong now. Next up is Team America. I've had the DVD for so long. I know the Blu-ray exists. It was one of the things that because my dad asked me to send him over some stuff, ideas, so I sent him over a couple of things for me. One of them was Team America, and the other one was the I Spit on Your Grave Blu-ray collection, which I did have, and I sold it, even though I didn't watch it, so those were what I sent to him. So hopefully I'll get this one for Christmas. Team America, another one of my all-time favourite comedies, of course. From, you know, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. You know what you're getting yourself into. Imagine Thunderbirds, but with guns and over-the-top violence, sex. It's ridiculous. I still can't believe they haven't done a Team America 2. How can they not have done a Team America 2? I imagine it takes a long time to make those sort of movies. But I'd love to see a Team America 2. And I've been wanting the Blu-ray upgrade for a while. I've seen the Steelbook in CX a while back. And I should have picked it up. But at the time, I didn't have the money, you know. So if I'd had the money, I would have picked it up. I don't normally go for Steelbook. But for certain movies, if they have a nice edition, why not, you know? The next one is Mr. Bean's Holiday. I'm sorry to admit this, but I still haven't watched Bean all the way through. I've seen clips of it, but Mr. Bean's Holiday, such a great film for me. I love Mr. Bean growing up. I love the animated series. I love the live action series. Rowan Atkinson, another one of my favourite actors, especially British actors. Been in a ton of great stuff, you know, mostly known for his comedic roles. I actually prefer Rowan Atkinson in Blackadder than I do the Mr. Bean character. Maybe when I was a kid, I thought Mr. Bean was my favourite of the Rowan Atkinson. But now that I've got older, I've enjoyed him as Blackadder, because he's playing more like how he is in real life, more sort of posh and, you know, witty and stuff like that. You know, not your typical sort of slapstick comedy, but I want to get Mr. Bean's Holiday on Blu-ray. Again, it is available on most streaming services, but I do want the actual physical Blu-ray. I don't know if it's got a 4K release. Or let me know in the comments below if any of these things have 4K releases. You know, so for the most part, these are basically upgrading from DVD to Blu-ray. Next up is Dumb and Dumber, another classic film. I think I've seen Dumb and Dumber 2, which wasn't terrible. I think the other one, which was the prequel, is the one that a lot of people say is terrible. I know one of them they say that's terrible. But Dumb and Dumber, another classic film, of course. Jim Carrey, it is Jim Carrey, right? I don't want to say that I was wrong. I'm sure it's Jim Carrey. And obviously, I forget the other guy's name. I know him when I think about him. I don't really follow actors. I tend to follow them as characters. But Dumb and Dumber, a classic film. Such great comedy. Just what more do you want? So many memorable scenes. You know, the whole the end scene is classic. You know, you want to come rub oil on us and stuff and say, hey, wait a minute, you got to go that way. The toilet scene again, classic. You know. The bird as well, where he kills the bird, and when they give the guy the stomach, the hot sauce, and he's got an ulcer in his stomach. Just a great film, great movie that's going to put a smile on your face. I love that movie. Next up is one that I could potentially get soon. I'm debating on buying it soon. I'm not too sure yet. I'm going to see if I can find it. But that is Austin Powers trilogy. I've had the DVD set for so long. And the Blu-rays, for some reason, have been kind of expensive, a bit more, you know, the first one wasn't too expensive. It's around about the £5-6 mark, £5 to £10 mark. The third one around about the same price, but the second one was always going for about £20 and up. But then there was the Blu-ray Region 3 trilogy, which I believe actually was cut. A lot of people said that there were some scenes cut out from the movie. But now HMV have finally released the limited collector's edition for Austin Powers trilogy, which includes all 3 movies and a bunch of like bonus stuff, and it's exclusive to HMV, and it's only $29.99. So I might be getting that soon. I think that will be my last treat to myself, just because I want to get it. It's one of my all-time favourite trilogies. I love those films. I don't normally go for special edition, but it's this semi-cheap special edition. Next up is a Blu-ray to 4K upgrade. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Probably my favourite children's movie of all time. In fact, it's also a musical. Probably my favourite musical of all time. I love that film so much. I know they did the limited collector's edition a while ago, which come in a nice box and all of that, but I don't care about all of that extras as long as I've got the film. The Blu-ray looks decent, but I do want to upgrade to Blu-ray 4K. I think it's about $17.99 at the moment, which isn't too bad. 4Ks are normally 25 to 30 quid on release. Normally, you're not going to pay under £10 for 4K unless you're lucky and find a deal or something. So I'm happy with the Blu-ray, but I do want to upgrade that to 4K. Next up is the Final Destination collection, which I do have on DVD. Another one of the modern horror films that I actually like. I enjoy all 5 Final Destination films. They're not perfect movies by any means, but I enjoy those movies, sort of cheesy, fun, you know, good gore effects. I am looking forward to Final Destination 6 coming out. But I know they do a Blu-ray release for each individual film, I believe. I know they did a 4-pack which had 1 to 4, but I did see on Amazon that they have got the complete collection on Blu-ray. I'm not sure if it's an English release or a European release. I'm not too sure, so I'm debating on how I want to go about doing that one, but I do want to upgrade those to Blu-ray. And then the second, the last one is the Batman 4K collection. I do want the Batman 4K collection. When I say Batman, I'm on about the 89 to 95 or 98 films. Batman Returns, Batman Forever, which is probably my favourite of their films. Guilty pleasure film. Batman Returns is definitely the best out of those 4 films, in my opinion. of course, Batman and Robin. I've had the DVD set loads of times. I've had the Blu-ray set, sold it, but I want the 4K set. They did do a Steelbook collector's edition for it, and they have released them individually, but I know you can get all 4 films as one box. I prefer to do that. I know some people prefer to have individual releases, but for me, if I can get 4 films in the case of one case, you know, it's less space, you know, as long as that's good enough for me, you know. And I the last one I do want to sort of mention is I'm debating on doing it. I don't think I'm going to do it anytime soon. Is actually I'm debating on. I recently watched Jigsaw last night, and actually I thought it was decent. I remember enjoying it when I first watched it, but I can definitely see why some people didn't like it. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought this movie was a good film. You know, takes place sort of. Shows some background story, but also the future. Much better than Spiral. Some people like Spiral. Do you, man? But they have released these as a complete set now in the UK called the Legacy Collection, and it does have special features. But when I actually looked at the special features, it just come up saying commentaries, deleted scenes, and it says plus hours more. I can't really find any information about the special features. So if you have the Legacy Collection, could you please comment below or message me or something? Let me know what the special features are on the Legacy Collection. Like I said, I don't want Spiral. I don't want that back. I know Jigsaw and the original Saw have got 4K releases. I'm debating on whether or not to just sell these and get the Legacy Collection just so I can have those special features, because I normally don't care about the special features, but for one of my all-time favourite horror franchises, I do want the special features. This don't have any special features, but it is a good way to get the films at least. It's £40 at the moment. I'm debating on whether or not because I've only just recently rewatched these, you know, I'd be paying £40 and I don't think I'd rewatch them. I don't know if the transfers are any different, but knowing my luck, I'd buy the Legacy Collection and then they release the 4K collection. But like I said, I might go for a complete Saw collection and go through all the different versions, because I know the DVDs that I had, the individual ones, each had special features. So let me know in the comments below. I've seen the picture. It just says audio commentaries, interviews, and then it says deleted scenes and more. It says hours more. So if it's saying hours more, then maybe they've got all the special features from the DVD releases. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if that is the case. So there we have it, guys. There's 15, well, technically 17, I guess, films and movies or TV shows or whatever that I want to upgrade. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to do these, but these are on the sort of top priority. Like I said, hopefully I might be able to get the Austin Powers one possibly this week, maybe next week, I don't know. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like, comment below, let me know if any of these films that I've mentioned have, because like I said, for the most part, these are upgrades to Blu-ray. But if they have 4K releases, let me know where I can find those 4K releases. I do want to try and get as many things upgraded to Blu-ray that I know that I want on Blu-ray, and try and thin down the collection and make it a little bit more tidy, if you will. And obviously, as I go through and watch movies, maybe this list will get bigger, you know. If I enjoy a movie, like, for example, Predator, I've got there, and stuff like that. So I know that I haven't seen those movies yet, but I know that I probably will enjoy them and maybe upgrade, and so on. Plus, if I have movies on 4Ks and Blu-rays, it might make me less likely to keep spending money on subscriptions, but we'll see. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Enjoy the family. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, the Mad Kiger. I'm going to play some more Dynasty Warriors 9 tonight. And then I'm going to watch some Robot Chicken Season 5. I think I'm on episode 10 now. On all 4. Which actually, I didn't really want to pay for another subscription. But I got 14 days free trial for all 4. So why not? There is a new subscription service coming, ITVX. So when that comes out in December, I might get a free trial for it so I can do another 2 stream or not to stream. And as always, guys, have a nice day and see you next time.